everyone. Welcome to Homeopathy Study Group Pro Bono webinar. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. So nice to see many of you from different countries and different time zones. Before we start our webinar, always thank universe for giving us this great opportunity. And Dr. Shweta Singh, our Chief Administrator, will start the session.
Hello everyone, myself Dr. Shweta Singh, KHA Chief Administrator and your host today. Welcomes our respected speakers, Chairman and CEO Kavita Ma'am and KHA volunteers and all the attendees to KHA webinar. I would like to take the opportunity to introduce KHA Homeopathy Study Group to all of you. KHA Homeopathy Study Group Pro Bono was organized and founded by homeopath and humanitarian Kavita Kumar, President and CEO of Kavita Holistic Approach, KHA. This study group is intended to be an offering from Kavita to the homeopaths around the globe, sharing goodwill and solid clinical work within the classical model are foundational principles for the KA. KA mission and vision are very unique to inspire young homeopaths, mentor, provide excellency for educational purposes using holistic approaches via webinar, which are based on principles of classical homeopathy, and provide professional continuing educational homeopathy credits for practitioners. We provide merit certificates for spreading the light of homeopathy around the globe. Dr. Kavita is a member of Kevin Friendly Foundation, a non-profit organization that helps to serve poor people in greater needs in India. She is also the associate editor of the Homeopathic Heritage and member of CHCPR committee and Achina CPD provider. She is the recipient of Martha Community Service Award by National Center for Homeopathy and Best Entrepreneur Award from Dr. N. Lingaraju, Principal of JSPS Homeopathic Medical College, Hyderabad, India. Also, Dr. Kavita received the prestigious Legendary Homeopath Award with joint hands of Honorable Health Minister Dr. Dhan Singh Rawat, Senior MLA Mr. Harbhajan Singh Chima, Ex-Director of Homeopathy, Government of Uttarakhand and Chairman of HomeoCure and Research Institute during National Homeopathic Seminar Homeopathy, the Future Medicine at Kashipur on 21st August 2022. Dr. Deepak Sharma, Ka mentor, Dr. Rajneesh Kumar Sharma, Ka advisor, and myself, Ka team were also recognized and presented with the Legendary Homeopath Award at the ceremony. We are extremely happy and proud that we celebrated 11 years of our book, Beyond the Limits, a challenge to prove oneself. And at Ka's second annual celebration, our honorable guest of speaker, Dr. Jawahar Shah, Chairman of Enlightenment Education, launched audiobook and hard copy of her second write-up, A Dose of Spirituality with Kavita. Dr. Kavita donated the proceedings of the book through Ka Homeopathy Study Group platform to various charitable organizations and homeopathic association. To name a few are Kevin Friendly Foundation, CHC, DHMA, GSPS College, VT Seva, NCH, etc. Interested ones can reach us for the details at castudygroup@gmail.com. As of now, we have over 300 plus recordings on professional webinars related to homeopathy, health-related topics, and inspirational talks available on our channel, Kavita Kukunur. It has been, the webinar is being recorded as we speak, and we will take questions at the end of the webinar. We will post a jot form in the Zoom webinar chat at the end of the webinar. Please fill the form to receive your certificate and kindly mute yourself and turn your videos off for better connection. Now, I would like to invite our Ka volunteer, Dr. Poolam Chablani, ma'am, to read Code of Ethics if she is there.
Yes, ma'am.
Please proceed, ma'am. Over to you.
Yes. Thank you, Dr. Shweta, for giving me this opportunity. KHA Homeopathy Study Group Pro Bono Ethics and Benefits. First, to be a KHA speaker needs at least 1 to 2 months of active volunteering. Second, only KHA speakers' themes are promoted in newsletters and webinars. Third, KHA provides vol- uh, provides counseling, provides volunteering for 2 to 12 months and respects and inspires volunteers to grow. Fourth, active volunteers will be promoted through our website, social media, and added to WhatsApp groups. Fifth, articles of volunteers will be posted on KHA website and newsletters and will be sent for publication and other journals too. Sixth, active volunteers are eligible for prestigious KHA annual awards. Seventh, volunteers are eligible for KHA inspirational talks. Eighth, volunteers are eligible for case discussions. Ninth, KHA promotes homeopathic organizations as well as their mega events. 10th, KHA promotes great work of speakers through their book reviews. 11th, honorable guests may propose their future courses in event after the webinar. 12th, KHA maintains a healthy and happy environment as it keeps only like-minded folks. 13th, KHA requests everyone to maintain the confidentiality of the group. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr.
Over to
Poonam.
Dr. Shweta.
Thank you, Dr. Poonam. And it's a big day as it's your birthday. So, on behalf of the entire team of KHA, I wish you a very, very happy birthday and may God bless you with all comforts in life. Happy birthday,
Thank
ma'am.
you so much. Thank you so much.
Now, let me introduce our honorable speakers to all of you. We have with us today uh, a very learned speaker, Dr. Mamata Kumar, and an enthusiastic speaker, Dr. Shweta Verma, with us. Our first speaker, Dr. Mamata Kumar, is a BHMS from Pune University. She is an ICR trained and member of MID MHI, consulting physician, CHS MLD MHI, contributing articles to NGH, and she's practicing in Bangalore since 2005. She is our KHA volunteer, and she'll be speaking and sharing her knowledge about homeopathic management of asthma in children. Our second speaker, Dr. Shweta Verma. She's she's a BHMS DNHE and founder and director of Life Care Homeopathic and Wellness Clinic, assistant editor of KHA Group Pro Bono USA, ex-medical officer of Deepak Memorial Hospital, Kailash Health Group, ex-medical officer of Star Health and Allied Insurance Company, ex-medical officer of BM Gupta Hospital, and she'll be sharing her views on Cocculus indicus and its homeopathic approach in cervical spondylitis. So welcome both of you to the KHA platform, and today we will enrich ourselves from these honorable guest speakers. So welcome both of you once again to KHA platform.
Thanks.
Now, Dr. Mamata will proceed first and Dr. Shweta Verma will follow. So over to you, Dr. Mamata. You can start your session.
Thank you, Dr. Shweta, for this wonderful introduction. So, shall I share my screen?
Yes, sure, ma'am.
Good evening and good morning, everybody. Thank you, dear Kavita ma'am and KHA Group, for giving me this opportunity to present my cases on this prestigious platform. And about Kavita ma'am, she's so supportive and caring and with lot of patience. She's a great leader and true inspiration. It is a wonderful team that help all of us share our experiences and help us in many areas like writing, presentation, case solvings, and And ma'am, thank you so much for being there for all of us all the time, and grateful for that. Grateful for that. So I hope I don't come across as a old wine in a new bottle. So this time, if we get epidemic or pandemic like this, what we experienced last 2 years, it might help us with this understanding these strategies. So keeping this in mind, I am presenting these cases. So probably this will give you the entire range of prescriptions that can be applied in any conditions of respiratory distress. So this is my topic is now homeopathic management strategies of asthma in children. So we'll start. So objectives of today's presentation is you probably get from that various forces can be available to you to understand the analysis of susceptibility as a tool to manage the respiratory diseases, and focusing asthmatic bronchitis, acute and chronic bronchial asthma. So I will share certain planning and programming that might help you to get an idea how to manage the cases, prepare for the pandemic. So we quickly run through and brush up our memories on bronchial asthma in children, that where we get the lungs and airways inflame after exposed to some triggering pollen or respiratory sensitive virus, which usually affect less than 5 years, called as a bronchiolitis, and followed by the spasm and increased mucus secretions. And there is a strong genetic predisposition, that is a strong family history of asthma in some children. Then they are, and also have that emotional stresses, suppressions, and sensitivity in some children that give the attacks and the symptoms all of us familiar with, that the long-term problems that children face with, that they are unable to play out, their poor sleeplessness, and their abnormal functional life because of their poor ability to exert and poor sleep pattern, fatigueness. So generally their dependent state on the inhaler support. So what is important here, which we learn from our sirs, that to keep in mind that any respiratory distress, first make a note of general appetite, sleep, weakness, and chest tightness, objective symptoms like abdominal breathing, rhonchi, rales, and each quadrant of lungs. And along with that, we have to see the mental state like alertness of mind, because sometimes they are slowly slipping into the state of drowsiness, and monitor their oxygen level, so respiratory rate and pulse rate, which is very, very important. And you will know whether they are manageable with our medicines at home or we have to admit. So mostly bronchial asthma comes in airway diseases, which are hypersensitive airway diseases, can result in acute asthmatic bronchitis, and sometimes even foreign body aspiration can mimic like these conditions. So we also have other conditions like pleural affections like pneumonia, bronchopneumonia, emphysema, pulmonary edema. Why I'm sharing all these conditions? Because they all cause a respiratory distress, and our topic is going to deal with the respiratory distress due to bronchial asthma. So both chronic and acute episodes. So let me go through the what kind of forces are available with the homeopathic physician. In that we have. So let's revisit our master's writing in aphorism 74 and 75. He says chronic diseases have the relapsing acute state, which are usually periodic, and with acute spikes followed by asymptomatic intervals or subacute phase. Usually chronic diseases grow on individual soil, the constitutional types, miasmatic influences, and the susceptibility decides when the volcano will erupt. And diseases like epilepsy, bronchial asthma, migraine, and all. So now we are dealing with the first type of the susceptibility. Here are the acute episodes require acute medicines prescribed on the totality based on the symptoms like location, sensation, modality, concomitant, and going to give the importance to the pace, evolution, elements from, and remedy relationship. So the term exacerbations means that heightening, worsening, increasing, and aggravation. So let us start with the first case of like one child. He came 5 years child. He comes down with a loud barking cough, worse at inspiration and worse at midnight with very difficult and labored breathing, but stable respiratory rate was 40 and oxygen saturation was 95. Worse in a cold weather, better by drinking something warm and wheezing like whistling sound. So any remedies are coming in your mind? So uh, if coming, you just write down in the chat box because I'm not able to see the chat box. Looking at these symptoms, any remedies are coming? Okay. So mostly look at the remedies like spongia, bryonia, drosera. So these are the things that what is important when we deal with the acute episodes like this. So we'll go through the repertorial reference. So indicating remedies like spongia, phosphorus, hepar, bryonia, aquinoid. What was one thing is getting important in our differential diagnosis of remedies in pathophysiology from dry spasm over the lot of mucus formation. So this allows us to come to the scope of remedies. From there, you can go to the mental generals and physical generals and modalities. In our case, we found there is a dry spasm, so a dry, loud, constricting sound, worse in the midnight, worse in cold, and better by the warm. So he had a state of very dull and alternating moods and very fearful and anxious. So now I understand that spongia, why the phosphorus or bronchia, not phosphorus or bryonia. But next challenge came is the chronic totality that I am facing, or is it just a acute episode that we have to find it out. So when mentally I started taking the case because to know the patient better. So when mentally involved the case, that what came across was that child is a calcarea child, like a shy, timid, specific here, fear of dark and being alone, hardworking, stubborn. And when I went to the remedy relationship, that then Boning Hussain from the Boning Hussain therapeutic pocketbook, so you will find out that spongia is a complementary to calcarea as a acute. So there was a very important to us to understanding that first type, when we get the clear totality as well as the chronic totality, then we can understand the acute remedies complementary to the chronic remedies. So how is the response in such cases? That there in that case we needed only 2-3 episodes. We had given the spongia in January to March 2021 because calcarea carb as a constitutional given every weekly 1 dose, and within 3 to 4 months that it gradually reduced the intensity of the attacks and frequency. So we are still observing that child, but she didn't get any further attacks, and whenever got, so spongia work wonderful in that case. So in concepts of management, and acute form came up that requires 24 to 48 hours to resolve, and pay attention to the remedy relationship, like example that lyco for a constitutional lyco patient, that arsenic helps. In silica constitutional, that hepar sulf help as acute. So do not change your prescription of acute and be clear on your blocks of acute and chronic, and pay attention to the portrait, evolution, pace, and remedy relationship with the chronic remedy. That will be the key to crack the case. So now we'll go to second type of the susceptibility that gives you the distinct acute totality, that you will find that acute totality is matching so much with the chronic totality. In such cases, responses are very quick and need infrequent doses, as the particular remedy is covering predisposition to disposition to miasm to expression. So I would like to share a case where I learned from my mistake, that here a child of 6 years suffering from recurrent attacks of bronchial asthma, and to reduce it, he has to take the daily dose of inhalers and nebulization in acutes. So sometimes it would be very infective bronchitis. That time he requires the antibiotic along with the inhaler. So we have the case that have the acute episodes last for 2 to 4 weeks, and which will never touch the baseline, and which will require him to be continuous medication. Obviously, it was affecting his daily activities. So daily activities like sleep, very cling, and he's a very clingy child, holding on to the environment. So clear-cut totality was dry cough, nausea, thirstlessness, and irritability. So all of us can come easily to ipecac in this case. But the challenge was that whether that ipecac is working for him as an acute or it is a it is a chronic. So what mistake I did in this case, that every time I gave ipecac as an acute, that that we can bring down the attacks within a 24 hours. But then problem came when I introduced a tuberculum as a constitutional chronic remedy, because I thought that whatever his mentality is towards the tuberculum, like no child type, and then there was a severe aggravation and it did not help the child. That then I have to go back to ipecac again to solve that. So again I reviewed my case in this, and what I understood when where I gone wrong, that it was obvious that I had not clearly repertorized and not understand the depth of the child. So she was very hyperactive, can easily confuse with the tubercular hyperactivity, and very playful, and difficulty to please her, and easily get distracted. And all of us know that tubercular children are very like a no child type. They don't want anything. They everything they want according to their way, obstinate type, and constantly stimulated, like their hyperactivity, their peevish, irritable disposition, and parents are dentists, so easily fulfill his demand. So teacher said that it is very difficult to make her sit at one place, and she gets jealous if someone get more attention in the class, and uh, she is a leader with her friends, and they have to listen to her. So any inputs on chronic remedy? So anything is coming in the chat box? Dr. Shweta?
No, ma'am, not yet. There's one response. Dr. Pooja said tarantula.
Okay. Okay. So then I repertorized the case, and that ipecac was beautifully covering that chronic totality, which completely mixed up with the other remedies that already we considered that. And then why ipecac? So ipecac is a from Rubiaceae family, with irritability, peevishness, capricious, and very characteristic physical generals like thirstlessness and nausea with very dry wheeze. So ipecac as a chronic remedy which came up as an acute form. So let us see the response. So within 19th February to 21 to 24th February, we were able gradually withdraw the inhalers which she was on, and she was with the steroid dependent inhalers. We have to bring down after 3 weeks and make it once in a 2 days, like, because we can't immediately withdraw the inhalers, that steroid inhalers. So that once in 2 days, and like that once in 3 days, that gradually withdraw depending on the episodes. And because of entire disposition to soric and psychotic state, the expression of ipecac was able to hold the case next 5 months, and that and slowly that patient becomes stable. So we get the another learning, This is a patient come with the severe dry cough, breathlessness, and urine was dribbling with the cough with everyday wheezing sound, and very important that wheeze and cough is only with the exertion. He coughs so loudly that he has a dribbling of urine. So what is interesting here is a characteristic was very high, that we find this totality is present in all, that these kind of expressions are very important to repertorize. And you will find that varietrum album is covering the most of the symptoms. So why varietrum album? So covers both acute and chronic. So look at the mental state of that child. Child comes from the middle class family. She's very pampered, not scolded, given whatever she wanted, and but she's very restless and hyperactive, demanding. So what is interesting here is the stress of the lockdown. That that COVID lockdown did not give her the outlet to go out and play and release her channelized energies. So that was all the time very high, and this resulted in the child becoming so violent, biting, feigning, and that sickness, and never attend the online classes. So remedy became very clear to us due to this uh, characteristic behavior of child. So in how many cases that we find that child with the wheeze with involuntary urination is a very few, and with exertional dyspnea. That is even though common exertional dyspnea, but dribbling of urine is quite uncommon. So it is very important that every symptom become PQRS for us in these cases. So when we go for the repertory and with this characteristic mental state, that what we found, that remedy response was equally dramatic, and the child was not on any medicines. He was not taking any inhalers or any antibiotics that time when he came. So that's why that within a month that child become it is very easy to recover him with that variety album. That first it was given as a constitutional 3 packets weekly, and placebo along with that, and the child recovered within a 2 months with the frequent doses. So now we'll go to third type. So which is the just experience of sharing in cases of bronchial asthma, that where there is a strong family history and children coming with the atopic eczema alternating with the bronchial asthma. So and deep acting nosode help us to recover that cases. Uh, Earlier I used to make strong mistake by using basilinum only with as a with constitutional or acute or tuberculinum, that both nosodes only I was using. And but what is important here is just wait and see whatever you can. Keep basilinum for few months without really changing the prescription, or tuberculinum aware is also another nosode for allergy and hypersensitivity. So actions I use. So we find wait and observe with the deep acting nosodes, and without quickly changing the prescription. These children who have the strong history of family history, and alternating either a family history or alternating states of atopic eczema and bronchial asthma, they respond very quickly with this using of these nosodes. So key learning of these, every child is a unique, every child has susceptibility that through the unique form, every and only homeopathy has ability to individualize cases. Of course, we need multi-system integrated approach when we deal with the respiratory distresses, but nobody is denying that every system is superior, and we study multifactorial causation to expression. So simillimum help to restore the susceptibility, and we have adequate armor to meet the challenges ahead. So I'm going with the fourth type, that here the child is 7 years old age. I will just explain the case, and then I will explain about the fourth type. So one child is about 7 years old. He came with a mother. Mother was very anxious, and she because she brought a child in an acute state of wheezing, and child was already on the nebulization with the steroids and acetylene along with the course of antibiotics. So last few months, due to change of weather, child was getting attacks every 2 weeks. So he was on the Budaka daily dosage. Even he was getting an super added infection. So after examination, I found Ronca in all quadrants with the abdominal breathing, and respiratory rate was 40, oxygen saturation was 95. So he was on nebulization every 4 hourly, and along with the steroid inhalers 2 times a day, 2 puffs. So I thought, let me understand the case first and before prescribing. So I took the chief complaint because it was going on since long. So there was no use of giving acute and then again wait, because every monthly he was getting 2 times the attacks. And even though he was on the steroid and acetylene inhalers continuously. So while taking the chief complaint, I observed there was a very common symptoms like sneezing, cold with watery discharge, nose block, dry cough, along with the fever, 100 and 101 Fahrenheit, and breathlessness, along with the common modalities like aggravation by cold food, change of weather, dust, better by open air. And the and even though the child was on Buddha card 2 puffs daily, the wheezing was not coming down. And he was a common that concomitant that sleep is disturbed due to cough and clingy, very dull, irritable. There was constantly undergoing the mild skin complaints. So since long time, which was under control with the steroid cream. Then I started the full case taking. Then physical generals, what why first thing came to my mind was there was a desire for sweets and milk products, along with the profuse sweating on the head and the body, and patient was hot and dreams fearful. So then while taking the mother's mind during the state of pregnancy, she was very anxious that about fear of abortion. So child born premature, but all his milestones were normal other than the talking, uh, all normal. So no problem in the milestones. So I started understanding child as a patient. So while interacting with the child was very shy, was clinging to mother only and answering in the nodding his head whenever I ask any question to him. But mother shared that he is very talkative at home, but what she feels then that he always laugh while talking. He likes singing, dancing, very sensitive in nature, but he weeps for small things, like even parents argue, he weeps. He has a small baby sister of 5 years old. If she doesn't listen to him, he weeps and he cries, and he's very hyperactive. He likes to play with the pet animals. He's irritable. But few hugs and cuddles, he feels better. Then he likes sports like cycling, running, basketball, climbing, hanging. So he's always active, hyperactive, but little bit VP type. So I build up the totality, considering the mentals and physical generals, like child is a sensitive, attached with the parents, mild, fearful, weeping easily, weeping on trifles, talks in sleep, dreams frightful, and physicals like desire for milk and milk products, cough while aggravation lying down night, and profuse perspiration, and cough better with the open air and hot patient. So after repertorization, I got many remedies like arsenic, hepar, pulsatilla, calcarea, phosphorus, tuberculinum, silica. But after reading Materia Medica, I choose pulsatilla. So why pulsatilla? So depending on these indications, that affection of the mucous membrane, mild, timid, emotional, and tearful, that like the children first and caresses, that fear of dark, capricious, easily moved to tears and laughter, answers yes or no by nodding the head. So, so about pulsatilla. So after choosing pulsatilla, that it is from a Ranunculaceae family, and it's called as a windflower, that we know doctrine of signature, that because of the changeability, because stem is so delicate that it moves easily according to direction of air, wind. So changeable mind, weeping alternates with laughter. Child is very mild, yielding, soft, gentle, and hold quite well to the environment and gets whatever he wants from his parents with smartness. So why pulsatilla? So here is the differentiation. Even though child is very mild, having delicate skin and all, but he is not phosphorus because he is not very expressive type phosphorus, like want to be the center of attraction. Even though he is very lean, thin, timid, I didn't feel like silicon because he's not very obstinate, stubborn, and headstrong, and unable to accept the affection. So and adjusting with he contrary on the contrary, he is very mild, adjusting with the environment, adapting to the environment. So I didn't feel like calcarea, as this child is not very curious type. As they start, as soon as they start come in the clinic, no, they start touching the things in the clinic. So that curiosity is very evident in calcarea calf children. So but this child was sitting beside his mother, not roaming here and there, and whatever that whenever I used to ask the questions, he used to nod his head, not looking at me also. So that's why I started with pulsatilla 0 bar 2 on frequent doses. Why 0 bar 2? Because I didn't get the clear cut LSMC, because in LSMC that all the symptoms were quite common, and acute totality was matching pulsatilla. So I thought I will start with this remedy, and which is covering mentals as well as physical. So his present symptoms also. So as that acute as well as chronic totality. So and ensure that susceptibility will gradually recover. So slowly I will withdraw the Buddha card so that we won't get any acute exacerbations. So I started pulsatilla 0 bar 2 daily for 2 weeks along with the inhalers, because I didn't want to take any chance to aggravation. And after 2 weeks, I started tapering the inhalers every alternate day, then 2 days once, like that. Slowly, I tapered it off and totally withdraw the. I wanted to totally withdraw the inhaler, but there was a October month, and till January month here in Bangalore, the weather is very cold and child gets aggravation by cold air. So subsequently, he was on pulsatilla for 3 4 months, and then I stopped pulsatilla in summer and followed him for a year. And in continued same potency, at child was continuously getting better. So I did not change the pulsatilla 0 bar 2, because there was no any acute exacerbation, and the 0 bar 2 was holding the child very nicely. That's why I didn't want to change the potency also, and stop inhalers and stop the inhalers simultaneously. So even though that there was a change in weather, that did not affect the child. So that was the reason I didn't change the potency. So now I present with the second case. So here the in case second, that using the same principles, whatever the application of concepts in case one, I use similar concepts here also. So here the 3-year-old boy, and who was already using flu block once a day, one spray with Monter daily, and since 6 months of age, he had a frequent attack. So every 15 days, he used to get the infection, and cold used to travel lungs within a 2 days. Here also, he used to start with sneezing, cold with nose block, and wheezing with fever occasionally. So in acute infection, he used to manage the nebulization with Budacart and Livolin, and along with the antibiotics. And there was a sleep disturb with cough. So here also, when I started with the physical genres, there was a desire for spicy fried milk and citrus fruit. That fruits used to aggravate the complaints, but he was liking it, and he used to get the sweating on the head, neck, palms, and soles. And when I came, how I came to know that he has a sweating on the palms, when I shake the hand with his palms very cold and sweaty, and the child was very lean, thin, and his milestones were pretty normal, uh, other than the talking that little comparatively late. So then I started understanding child as a patient. So child was quite intelligent and very shy in nature. When I observed, whenever I tried to interact with him, he used to whisper in his mother's ears, and continuously he was looking down. So not at all raising his head to look at me. The child was so sensitive, and mother was sharing that he cries when He cries whenever his parents talks loudly, or if they act like scolding him. So he's very obedient also. If she tells that no, no, not to play with the toys, don't watch TV, only play with the toys. So that time he doesn't watch TV. That much obedient. He doesn't means he get convinced easily. If he wants anything, he gets convinced. So and he if she tells him to keep his toys neatly, he keeps. And like after nursery, he comes to keep his shoes at one place, and all these things he listens. And he's very shy in nature. That when we teacher interacted, that they said child is very shy, he doesn't mingle easily, he's very fearful. And mother says he's afraid of dark and being alone, strangers. Lot of fears he's having with loud sound like whistle of cooker or dogs. So with this, I build up the totality, like but that particulars were not very striking. So I took only mind and physical gender. So mind was timid, fear of dark, fear of strangers, obedient, stubborn, conscientious, intelligent, and chili, desire for sour citrus fruits, desire for fried food, perspiration on palms and soles. So after repetition, many remedies came up, like last case, that calcarea, silicata, sulfur, kalikap. So I already differentiated with the calcarea and phosphorus. So I had taken here the other remedies like carcinosin on the basis of that kalikap and carcinosin, because I felt um, that carcinosin child is very timid, sensitive, and precocity is characteristic, and very like very perfectionist, very sensitive to hurt, fastidious, always want to live up to expectation of his parents, and which I didn't found in this patient. And that sensitivity to reprimands is very evident in carcinosin. And in Kalikap children, they have the attention seeking, can't keep the low profile. If their demands are not met, that anxiety they show with the various psychosomatic expressions like bedwetting, sleep talking, stammering. All this Kali needs family. If any relation gets spoiled, they show their aggression with the family only. So then I selected silica here because that child was getting acute attacks very frequently, and child was very sensitive physically as well as mentally, and every cold was settling in the chest, and that gives him the asthmatic symptoms. So child was very mild, conscientious, timid, so suffering from malnutrition, not because of food lacking, but from the defective assimilation. And child is chilly, having sweating on the palms and soles. And I have observed that asthma in the children of psychotic parents from Kent's Materia Medica. So about silica. So it is a mineral remedy, belongs to group of 4 of periodic table, and has a mineral qualities like organization, order, fastidiousness, and it has a row 3 pattern of appearance, lies in the middle of row, means he knows what he wants, but he is not able to do it. So he is concerned about his image. That's why he is very balanced type and is very image bound and of psychotic miasm. And why millisimal here also? So because that sensitivity and sensitivity of mind and body was very high, and the cases, both the cases have allergy and infective component was there. Both the cases were steroid dependent with frequent acute infections, needed the remedy given very frequently so that susceptibility gradually recovers and can gradually withdraw the steroids. So millisimal allows this transit very safely. That's why I selected the millisimal potency in both the cases. So here, whatever I said before, that the sensitivity was very high, and pathology was functional and reversible, and that allergic spasm and inflammatory and allergic spasm, which is steroid dependent. Then the dominant and the fundamental miasm both were psychotic. So in this case, also I started silica 0/2 with daily, and I did not stop Flublok and the Monte daily dosage which he was taking immediately after 15 days, because I started after 15 days I started tapering the Monte first, and after stopping Monte then only I started tapering Flublok. So in between he got a mild attacks of fevers and cold. So I thought that silica 0/2 is not holding and he's not satisfying the susceptibility. So I started silica 0/3 daily. After that, again he got a mild infection. So I shifted silica 0/6 afterwards. So sometimes acute diseases does not show the clear-cut picture because susceptibility is overwhelmed by the disease. That's why get the symptoms of chronic totality. So here constitutional features itself came at the constitutional prescribing. So in the strategies concluded that in both the cases that how the constitutional remedies in frequent doses of steroid dependent bronchial asthma help us to withdraw the steroids and restore the susceptibility. With no episodes of acute, this withdrawal takes at least a month or more than that. So depending on the weather change and other stresses and potency millisimal help you to gentle recovery, as the hypersensitivity of mind and airway is more and needs a frequent repetition. So according to aphorism 2, there is a rapid, gentle and permanent restoration of health happens. So with the testimonial of this patient's mother, this video was taken with the consent of patient's family. I'll just
Hello everyone. I want to tell you about our son Akash, who is currently 10 years old. During his early age, that was around 3 years, he used to fall sick very often. It used to start with cold, followed by wheezing the very next day. We were giving a lot of nebulization and prolonged inhalers. We were tired of giving him regular doses of steroids and antibiotics, which was as frequent as daily. We then started with homeopathic treatment through Dr. Mamata. This helped significantly, and the intensity as well as the frequency of wheezing came down drastically. He is absolutely normal since last 4 to 5 years and can eat all cold things like ice cream and chocolates. Now he very rarely falls sick or gets cold. Thank you, doctor. So here is Akash. Hello. Thank you. Hello, everyone.
so conclusion of this presentation that and what we learned in that understanding of the stage of disease, pathology and symptoms are very important, along with the susceptibility of the patient and the treatment strategies for the chronic asthma and acute bronchitis with our forces. So again, I want to thank you, all of you, for your patient listening. And even though I'm a part of Ka group, it feels surreal being a speaker on this stage. So thanks again, Ka group and Kavita ma'am. Thank you. Over to you, Dr. Shweta.
Thank you so much, Dr. Mamta. It was a wonderful sharing and nice compilation of cases from your side. Thank you for such a wonderful session. And now I would like to invite our second speaker, Dr. Shweta Verma, to please start her session. We will take up the questions at the end of the webinar. Is it fine, ma'am?
Yeah.
Dr. Mamta?
Yes,
Okay.
yes.
Sure. Welcome, Dr. Shweta.
Hello, everyone. As Dr. Shweta Singh has already given my introduction, so thank you, Dr. Shweta, for that. And now I would like to thank Dr. Kavita for giving me the opportunity to speak on this big platform. And next, I would like to thank all the attendees for giving your valuable time. So today's topic of my speech is Cocculus indicus and its homeopathic approach in cervical spondylosis. So Dr. Shweta, should I share my screen?
Yes. Let me make you co-host.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yes. Here you go.
So let's start. Cocculus indicus and its homeopathic approach in cervical spondylosis cases. See, what's the role of homeopathy? The role of homeopathy is to remove the toxins from the body in a disciplined way, which automatically help the patient to get rid of this problem. Homeopathy is a holistic approach towards healing, as we all know this. Now, these are the picture of Cocculus indicus. These are the berries. Cocculus indicus is the nurse of homeopathic materia medica, and how it is will come to know. Cocculus, its name is Indian cockle. Origin, Southeast Asia from India, Sri Lanka, Andaman and Nicobar Islands, Thailand, Indochina. Colors, initially white, then they turn to red, and finally dark purple. It tastes bitter. And what are the health benefits of Cocculus? Because it has been used many years back. We'll come to know about this also. It has been used for fever, ringworms, menstrual problem, many skin problems, headache, stomachache, and ulcers, scabies, convulsions, neurological disorders, and psychosis-related fear, cervical spondylosis, and many more. So let's talk about the history of Cocculus. It has been used by Arabian physician, but it was chiefly employed as a stupefying poison for fish, making them easy to catch. Its main medicinal use was an external ointment for scabies, eczema, and ringworm, and many skin disorders. It paralyzes and stops the mites. Roots used for stomach aches, fever, rheumatism, gout, and the leaves are used for dysentery and diarrhea also. This plant has also been used in the illicit adulteration. Illicit means which is not allowed by the society rules. Illicit adulteration of beer, and it increased the inebriating, the intoxication quality and the strength of the beer, and preventing a second fermentation, which would cause the barrels to burst. So it was also an ingredient used by the thieves for the purpose of focusing, yani ki deceiving, tricking their victims. Its active substance is picrotoxin. Picrotoxin acid. This is the acid, this is the toxin obtained from the seed of the cocculus. It is bitter crystalline stimulant substance, and it is used as intravenously as an antidote for barbiturate poisoning. What is barbiturate poisoning? It could cause respiratory depression, decreased level of consciousness, poor coordination, and difficult thinking. Koyas, it's an Indian tribal community. It is found in the state of Andhra Pradesh, Telangana, Chhattisgarh, Odisha, and the use of the leaf paste on head. They used to use the leaf paste on head for its cooling effect. The things I'm telling you right now, these are the essence of Cocculus medicine. We'll come to know about each and everything one by one. So this leaf paste on head, they used to use this leaf paste on head for its cooling effect. So likewise, Cocculus person is also quite cool from head. Now let's talk about the homeopathic essence of Cocculus. As the stem of the plant has been broken and separated from the roots, the Cocculus person also have lost sight of their own sense of being. But in contrast to this, they develop extreme sympathy to the suffering of others. So what I'm trying to tell you here is the Cocculus person, he gets disconnected from its own roots, from its own health, and it develops extreme sympathy to the suffering of others. In a way, they are denying themselves. They have stupefied their own feeling, but can still sense the intense feeling of others. Have you seen any such person who don't live for themselves? They live for others. They over absorb, but with a sense of emptiness. Just a minute. The sensitivity of others is so intense. The sensitivity to others is so intense that they will go to great lengths in helping or relieving the suffering. That's why they're in the rubric benevolence. They will go without sleep, without food, and although this will have its consequences, but they still persevere. They'll not stop. They will keep doing this. Just a minute. I'm not able to hide this upper line. If Dr. Shweta, you can help me with that. I'm not able to see my screen completely.
You're not able to share, see your screen?
Actually, the thing is there's a upper black line on my screen. The mute,
Okay.
stop video security.
There is a cross button over there. If you're, yes.
No, this will, I think, close the PowerPoint.
You can reshare if you want.
Okay. I'll do it like this. Okay. Now, without wasting much time, let's continue. So, just as it is a strong climbing plant, the person will climb and climb great heights. I'm telling you this metamorphically. What great heights? To help others, whilst running away from their own roots. Hence, the rubric is there. Recognizes everything but cannot move. Why and how do they get like this? There could be some kind of trauma, long-standing or chronic situations are usually the cause. A sudden illness in the family, someone who needs constant care. They'll work for them and they'll forget themselves. They can be very romantic. They are absorbed in reveries, but are very easily offended also. And there is a rubric for this. Sadness as if from an insult. So a loving relationship is very easily broken in Cocculus cases because they are absorbed in reveries. अपनी ख्याली पुलाव में. So they will dwell on this chronically and suppress their feelings until a disease state begins to appear. So sensitive, they will be in profound sadness. So therefore, there is a rubric in Cocculus. Horrible stories and sad things affect her profoundly. Let's discuss some amazing Cocculus cases. So, case 1, this is a case of a patient, a female patient, 56 years old. Her complaints were cervical spondylosis, sleeplessness, and depression. So, in this case, a female aged 59 years came with her brother-in-law. When she entered, she was completely quiet, very dull, very slow and timid. Then the conversation started like this. So, doctor, yes, please tell me about your problem. Patient, my patient didn't said anything and looked towards her brother-in-law again and again, like he'll answer. So her brother-in-law said, my sister-in-law has complaints of pain in shoulder, hands, fingers with numbness feeling with vertigo. So I said, okay. Then I smiled at the patient and asked her, since when you are having this pain? Because I was trying to get the answers from her. So patient gave me a reply. It's been around 2 years. I'm having this pain. If I continue the medicines, I feel slightly better. But as soon as I leave them, this pain comes again. Then I said, okay. And then she told me that I'm unable to sleep since around 1.5 to 2 years and taking treatment for depression also. I have to take medicine, but even after taking that, I sleep around 11 to 12 p.m. and wake up at 4 to 5 a.m. It means she was sleeping just for 4 or 5 hours, even after taking tranquilizers. So, I asked her, have you brought that prescription? She said, yeah, I have brought them and I checked them. Then I asked her, do you have any kind of stress? She said, no, nothing like that. She was so content. So then I asked her, is something bothering you? As she was looking so dull, and from her expression, she was looking quite anxious also, as if something is going continuously in her mind. So we have to analyze the gestures also of the patient. So now patient's brother-in-law said, actually, she is living here in Dwarka with her son since 2 years. Her son and daughter-in-law used to go to their office and she remains alone with her granddaughter and takes care of her. Maybe this is bothering her. So she was not telling anyone about her issues, about the cause of her continuous brooding. So meanwhile, the patient was looking at her brother-in-law and was completely silent. I said, okay, where's your husband? Then the brother-in-law said, he lives in village. So sometimes whenever she goes there and then she comes back here because she has to take care of her granddaughter and no one else is there for her. So I asked the patient, so are you liking to be here or not? I thought maybe she's having some kind of tension over here. She's not liking the weather or maybe she's not liking the environment near her. So then she said, no, everything is good. I take care of my granddaughter. She got ill few days back. I took care of her completely. Sometimes I feel loneliness. No one is there to talk here. I feel loneliness whole day. And then I start thinking a lot. Every time something is going on in my head, I think a lot. And due to this, I am unable to sleep also. Then I ask her, what kind of thoughts come to your mind usually? She replied, nothing significant. Just think about my husband's health and my brother-in-law's health. But I am unable to sleep then. And if I sleep, I get dreams of my brother-in-law's wife, who is dead now, 6 months back. So I thought she could be Ignitia, as we always think. Then she told me how she was. How she was sitting in front of her, that lady who died, in their drawing room, and suddenly she fainted. Actually, she collapsed suddenly in front of her. She had a heart attack. Okay, then I asked, how are your kids with you? Because I thought maybe there is some disputes with the kids. That's why she is not liking here. So she said, no, I have no complaints from anyone. My son and daughter-in-law takes care of me. They are so nice with me. I thought, okay, fine. Sometimes what happens when our patient is when we are talking to our patient is saying something, but we can analyze that if he is lying or not, if he is hiding something or not. From her dullness, I was able to see the morbid dullness in her, that she is kind of hiding, maybe she is hiding her feelings. So then I talked with her brother-in-law alone to get more inputs. So he told me that his son is a good person, but sometimes her daughter-in-law fights with her husband. Otherwise, everything is good. She takes care of everyone in our family. Who? The patient. Even when my wife was ill few days back, she came to my house to take care of her also. She is a very gentle and calm person. Now, if any of you can tell me the rubric, what rubrics can be taken, or what feel you are getting of which medicine, any one of you can please share your inputs in the chat box. If no one is saying anything, we can proceed. Okay, I think we should proceed. So I took these rubrics: anxiety, caretaking of others from, timidity, delusion, imagination, heedless as if, introverted, vertigo, aggravation, thoughts, thoughtful, taciturn, indisposed to talk, as she was not willing to talk to me, absorbed, buried in thoughts, anxiety with sleeplessness, dreams of dead people, loneliness, sympathetic, compassionate to, sleeplessness, thoughts from, and altruism. So this is the repertory chart. As you all can see, Cocculus comes first. Now, so I gave her Cocculus 200 odd OD for 1 week, followed by SL OD before sleep for 1 month. As I've already told you that she was having depression also, sleeplessness also, and cervical spondylosis also. So what were the results? Patient had very good sleep of 6 to 7 hours on the first day of taking medicine. And gradually she felt better with her pain in shoulder, arms, and there was no episode of vertigo after that. Even patient went to Nainital after 20 to 25 days of taking medicine with her family. And as we all know that in hilly areas, many people feel altitude sickness like dizziness, nausea, vertigo due to change in pressure. But this lady who was suffering from severe vertigo with sleeplessness, depression, she went there and came back happily with no health complaints. So even after that, she came with her husband in my clinic, and her husband was so happy and thankful to me. And then I kept her on Cocculus 200 OD 3 days, followed by SL, and she was all good after that. She took treatment from me for around 3 months, and she's all well till now. So let's discuss another case. Raj Singh, patient name is Raj Singh, age 56-year-old male. He was also having complaints of pain in both shoulders, numbness in forearms and fingers, and right-sided headache. So this is a case of 56-year-old patient. He's a retired teacher from government school. He was suffering from numbness in both forearms, fingers, and pain in shoulder since 5 to 6 years with right-sided headache. Patient is on allopathic and sometimes Ayurvedic treatment from his hometown since then, but only temporary relief was found. Now, patient came with his friend, who is my very old patient. So when they entered my cabin, he was having a calmness and mild smile on his face. He didn't sat until I asked him to. See the reverence. Then I asked him, please tell me about your problem. He told that he is suffering from numbness in forearms, fingers, and pain in shoulders since 8 years. I asked him about his previous treatments. He told me that he is on allopathic treatment now, but want to leave that as they are giving just temporary relief to him. He has also taken Ayurvedic treatment and he has taken physiotherapy also. But this problem comes again and again as told by him. Then I was looking for any cause of his ailments. So I asked him, what happened 5 to 6 years back? Because I always look for ailments in my patients. So was there something significant happen in your life? He told me that his wife got paralyzed 6 years back after an accident, and since then he is having all these problems. Then I asked about his IPR. He told me that he has one son who lives in Australia with his family, and he and his wife live here. So you can see a man of 56 years old age with his wife who is paralyzed. He is living here alone. He is taking care of him also and doing all the household chores also. I'm going to tell you about that. Then I started asking questions about how your house is managed, as mostly females in the house, they take care of the household chores. So he told me, I have kept a house helper and I am taking full care of my wife as she is bedridden now. So, and he told me that I give all the medicines on time. Even I do all the daily care for her, like toilet, bathing, sponging. He was taking care of her as a nurse. Then I asked him, how are you managing all this alone? This is not at all easy to manage all this in this age. He said, no, nothing like that. If this thing would have happened to me, then she would have done all this for me too. So I wake up early in the morning and get fresh ASAP till she wakes up so that I can take care of her free-minded. I know what all work I have to do daily. So I try to manage everything. So he told me that he has made a list of the things, what things he used to plan his day according to her wife's needs. Then I asked about his son. Does your son comes here to meet you? He said, my son. He visited us like around 3 to 4 years back, but he asked us to shift at his house. Then I asked him, why don't you shift with him? Because in this age, your wife is paralyzed, you're also aging. So why don't you shift with him? I was trying to pinch him so that the actual pain in him comes out. So he smiled and said, why to bother them? Why to disturb their life? I said, why are you thinking like that? That is your family only. Please tell, why don't you want to go there? Then after giving pressure on him, he told me that their daughter-in-law don't like to adjust with them. But it's okay. This is life, na? Then he took a pause of 2 minutes. And the case was over and the remedy was there. So I took few rubrics. I took timidity, as that person was actually very timid. Reverence for those around him because he didn't sat until I asked him to sit. Chaos, worries, full of aggravation, ailments from. So he was having ailments from the care and worries of his wife. Mathematics calculating apt for. Why I took this rubric? Because he used to plan his day according to his wife. He told me that I wake up early in the morning, I get freshen up as soon as possible, then because I have to take care of her also during the daytime. So this was his mathematics ability, because he was calculating till when to when I have to do this, then I have to do this. So he was calculating. Harmony with self-coherence. Why harmony? Because he don't want to disturb the harmony of his son's house. He don't want to go there. He could have thought to went there, but he didn't go. Why? Because he don't want to disturb their harmony. Recognizes everything but cannot move. This is a very nice and important rubric. See, this person also gets tired. The Cocculus person also gets tired. But he knows that she needs me. That's why he was working for her day and night. You know, taking care of a paralyzed person is not at all easy task. And especially when the age is around 50s, 60s. So then these people came into dullness. They just show a calm exterior to others. But somewhere inside them, in semi-conscious mind, they also feel bad, but still they will recognize everything but cannot move. They cannot change themselves, because this was the need of the hour. This was the need at that time. Now, next rubric, cares, worries, full of others about. He was so caring. Self-appreciation diminished. Why I took this rubric? Because when I asked him that you are doing so much for her at this age, how are you managing all this? So what was his reply? No, I'm not doing much. If I would have gone through this pain, this paralysis, she would have done all this for me also, no na? So he didn't appreciate it himself. He said, this is life. This is okay. So this is a respiratory chart, and Cocculus was there. I gave her Cocculus 1M OD for 3 days and followed by SL 30 before sleep for 1 month. Then after 15 days, I got a call from the patient that he's feeling very good. No pain now in shoulders, no numbness felt in arms, and he's feeling very fresh and relaxed. But he complained of having some constipation since 1 to 2 days. But he told me that he went to some marriage and all. Maybe due to that, it happened. So I just told him to continue the medicines. It got subsided the next day only, as told by him on call. So now we come to case 3. In this case, we'll see a very different facet of Cocculus. Till now, what we have seen, he is full of care, worries, ailments from cares and worries. He's such a timid person, very dullness. So he is very intelligent, mathematics ability. But now we'll see a very different facet of Cocculus. So this is a case of a very beautiful lady, aged 31 years old, married since 3 years, working as a teacher in a very reputed school in Delhi. So this lady came with her mother, who is my regular patient. Her mother is my regular patient. So this lady was suffering from migraine every next day and cervical spondylosis pain in shoulders and left hand. This was told by some allopathic physician to her, because she went to an allopath before coming to me. She is having these health issues since 2 months. As I have a habit to find the cause of ailment, so I asked her directly about her history. What happened 2 months back? Because she was having these issues since 2 months. So I asked her directly what happened 2 months back. At first she didn't reply. So her mother told me that she is with us since 2 months, as she had a fight with her husband. So can Cocculus fight? Because he's so calm and timid. We'll get to know about it. So I said, okay, what happened exactly? Now also she didn't reply. But when her mother told her to tell me, she replied to me. Because her mother was saying, please beta bata do, please tell her. So then she replied to me. Then patient said, actually, doctor, 2 months back, it was my niece's birthday, my husband's elder brother kid. So I helped my sister-in-law in all the work of birthday celebration. Then while we were having dinner together, my husband was drinking alcohol with his friends in a corner. So I was calling him again and again to come and have dinner because I hate alcohol drinking. So he suddenly got up and started yelling at me that I'm disturbing him repeatedly in front of his friends. I felt very bad at that time that I didn't had food even, and I left from there. Even my mother-in-law, for whom I cared so much, when she had surgery, her hysterectomy was done few months back. So she told me that lady told me that I stayed with her in hospital day and night. I have seen very less number of cases where daughter-in-law is doing so much for her mother-in-law in today's time. So I was quite astonished. Okay, then she told me that day she said her mother-in-law said her, don't ruin the mood, and my son is like this only. You should not have reacted like this in front of his friends. So she was blaming her. It means only his son matters for her. I love this family as my own family. At night, my husband again shouted at me in room. I cried whole night that day and decided to go to my parents the very next day, and I came here. This was the story. Now she told me that I'm not talking to him since then. Then I asked her, didn't any of your in-laws or your husband came to take you back? She said, yes, my husband has came 2 to 3 times to take me back, and my mother-in-law has called me around 10 to 15 times since then. But I really don't want to go. I need some time now. I said, okay. So what are the thoughts coming to your mind now? She said, I am not able to forget that day, what happened on that day. And I always think about that only. So she was brooding on that event only. How can he talk to me like that in front of his friends? He has insulted me. He is very rude. This thing is killing me from inside, and she started crying. Then I asked her to sit outside and ask her mother about her behavior. So, because I was thinking that she gets annoyed very easily, or she gets angry very easily. She is very obstinate as she was not willing to go back to her house. So, but the picture was quite different. What her mother told me that she's not at all like this. She has a habit to take care of everyone, the care. She loves everyone by her. She talks very nicely to everyone. She have never got any reason to scold her. Her mother, see, does mothers say like that? I never scold her because she never gave me any reason to scold her. So this was quite different thing. She is very calm girl. She never shouted or argued with us even. So then this thing keep me thinking, like, how can one be so calm? So I took 2 minutes and asked them to wait outside because I was trying to analyze what is there. She's saving many facets of her, sometimes angry, sometimes so calm, sometimes so nice. Sometimes I was thinking, is she carcinosin, that she was so maybe she gets dominated or something like that. So I was just analyzing. I asked them to wait outside. So what I analyzed finally, that this girl came to this angry mode after this humiliation feeling, that her husband insulted her in front of his friends. So I took these rubrics: sadness from insults, crying, weeping after humiliation, because she was feeling that she has been humiliated, sensitive, oversensitive to rudeness. She told me that my husband is very rude, my husband is very rude. Elements from grief, aggravation, brooding, weeping, tearful mood, anger, vexation with, because she cried the whole night after get annoyed with her husband. Tendency to worries, cares about others, because her mother told me that she always cares for everyone, and the most importantly, she was there with her mother-in-law. She was there with her mother-in-law day and night in the hospital. Can you imagine a daughter-in-law is doing so much for her mother-in-law? So, tendency to worries, cares about others, heedless, careless, careless about others, dwells on past disagreeable events, because she was constantly thinking about that event. So when I repertoire, Cocculus came in front. So I gave her Cocculus 30 TDS for 3 days and followed by SL BD for 15 days. Now the result is quite interesting. Patient's mother called me after 15 days that she has gone back to her house 2 days back. So can I come to pick her medicine, or should I ask her to come also? So then I said it's okay. I took her follow-up on phone and gave her medicines to her mother. I just gave her SL before sleep for 1 month. And her migraine was all over. Only 2 episodes of headache in that month, and pain in left arm and shoulder was also relieved. It means her cervical also subsided. So let's brush up some things about cervical spondylosis. As we all know that it's a age-related wear and tear of the cervical spine and the vertebrae, and we have 33 bones. It's all about that. So causes of cervical spondylosis are degeneration, herniation, osteoarthritis, or bone spurs. And I would like to add to it that mental stress can also cause cervical spondylosis. So these are the symptoms of cervical: neck pain, stiffness, a nagging soreness in the neck with pain in shoulder, muscle spasm, dizziness, vertigo, and a grinding sound when you move your neck, headache, tingling sensation in fingers. Okay. So let's talk about spine. Spine is a flexible support of life. You know, spine, we can bend also, we can stand straight also, because our spine is flexible. Flexible means elastic, able to bend easily. So here the cocculus person also bends easily, बहुत जल्दी झुक जाता है, which can adjust. So cocculus also can adjust. So here let's talk about why cocculus and cervical spondylosis cases. See, I'm not saying that cocculus will suit all the cervical spondylosis cases, but in my clinic, what I have seen, many number of cases of cervical spondylosis, I have given cocculus. So what I found in most of my cases, cocculus is very adjusting, no complaints person, or he will hide his feeling. He will not disturb anyone until his extreme stage of weakness come, or he gets humiliated or insulted. He's like a spine of the family. He will support the family even if his health doesn't allow. He'll still work for his family. He'll not care about his own health. He'll nurse or care the person without taking sleep, without eating anything. That's why he's in the rubric like compulsion, responsibility increased, heedless, careless, health about. Because he is careless about his own health. He's just working for others. Anxiety, health about, relatives of. He's more anxious about the health of the relatives, little concerned about his own. Cares, worries full of, cares, worries full of others about. Cares, worries full of, aggravation elements from. So he is in so many rubrics of cares and worries. Prostration of mind, sleep from loss of, because he don't even sleep when he is taking care of anyone. He will not even sleep. He'll stop eating. He'll not take care of himself. If he'll get the food, he'll eat, but he'll not take much actions for his own health. Altruism. What is altruism? It is caring about the need and happiness of others more than your own. Recognizes everything but cannot move. As I've already told you, that he'll recognize the situation. He's in mathematics ability. So he'll recognize the situation but will not say anything. As in that case of a man of 56 years old, her daughter-in-law didn't want them to come to their house. So he recognized them, but he'll stay quiet because he mathematics ability also, that he'll think if I'll go there, the harmony will get disturbed, and this Cocculus is in harmony with self-coherence. Because this person also feels bad, but they absorb the impressions, insults, but they will show a calm exteriors. They are very calm, but something, somewhere a turmoil is going on inside. They brood for that. They think a lot for that, but they'll show a calm exterior and absorb all the emotions passively for harmony. Then this creates a state of dullness when extremes came. Taciturn, indisposed to talk. They don't like to talk much. They're into dullness. Harmony with self-coherence. Self-appreciation diminished, as I have already told in a case. Reverence to those around him. Maternal instinct exaggerated. They're into high maternal instinct. Because a mother only cares for her children. Like a mother can care for her children, no one else can care like that. And Cocculus is like that. That's why she is in maternal instinct exaggerated. Now let's talk about the journey of the Cocculus. See, Cocculus is like a person who is into reverence, maternal instinct exaggerated, altruism, caring about the needs of others without thinking about his own, cares where he's full of. Then next stage comes. When he's caring too much for someone, what will happen? He'll have sleeplessness. He'll not eat anything. So then comes self, and yes, then comes cares, worries full of, eat if he does not. After that, he is also in self appreciation diminished. He'll recognize everything but cannot move in catalepsy. Harmony with self-coherence. Taciturn, indisposed to talk, prostration of mind from the loss of sleep. Now he's coming to prostration. Now let's see some negative rubrics of Cocculus. As we are seeing a very beautiful picture of Cocculus, now let's talk about the negative rubrics of Cocculus. When there is positivity in a person, there is some hidden negativity too. No one is perfect in this world. So, the rubrics, the negative rubrics of Cocculus are wicked disposition, mental derangement before, amenorrhea in, moral affections, want of moral feeling, delirium, angry. When these rubrics come during the extreme stage of weakness, and when weakness comes, when the person get exhausted, prostrated from taking care of other. I also remember one case where I took delirium angry because that lady was so sweet all her life, but suddenly she got an attack of pain of cholelithiasis. Then her daughter was trying to calm her out, but she was shouting so much on her that her daughter got frightened. How mama can be so angry with me? I haven't done anything. So that was delirium angry, because in delirium the person shows a different facet of himself. He changes the actual real facet of himself. So this is delirium. So he got angry in that stage. So that's all. Thank you so much. Thank you for listening me so calmly. Everyone became Cocculus right now. Hope you have enjoyed this. Hope you have learned something new. I've tried.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Shweta Verma and Dr. Mamata for such an enlightening sessions. And we have some questions.
Yeah.
Let us take them. There's one question from Dr. Deepika Mehra for Dr. Mamata, and it's for your first case, how to differentiate the remedies from silicia.
Yeah, that actually Dr. Deepika, that the patient was hot and silica is chilly, and here that changeability was very evident, that the mother herself shared that the child was laughing while talking, and that VPness was very evident, that every for small things he is VP. And what she said, that he is talkative at home, but outside he is like that, very shy, and he was whispering in her ears. But silica children are that, what second case we saw, that silica child was very very shy, and he was not at all looking at me. And when I shake the hand with him, that the child, that sweaty hand was there. So, and that few hugs and that caresses that relieve the first child, that child is relieved in the open air. All these things were not evident in the that silica case. So that's why that first case I select the pulsatilla, depending on the thermals and its mental generals, characteristic mentals. So I hope, Dr. Deepika, it is clear for you.
Yes, thank you so much, Dr. Mamata. And the second question is for Dr. Shweta Verma. It's from Dr. Shabnam. Why was careless, heedless rubric taken in the last case?
In the last case of that 31-year-old lady, actually she told me that she was with her mother-in-law day and night in hospital. See, when a person gets admitted, he gets a diet from there, from the hospital. But that lady, she told me that no one was there to bring food for me. Even my husband was not coming, but still she was there with her mother-in-law. So she was heedless. Heedless is beparwa. So she was heedless, lack of care. or attention for herself. So she was heedless or careless about her own health. So Cocculus person is like that. He'll not care about himself when he is taking care of someone else in the family or outside the family. He is kind of a nurse. Have you seen a nurse? They work day and night without resting, without eating. So Cocculus is like that only. Until and unless someone pinches them a lot, or they get extreme stage of weakness after, or they get prostrated.
There's one more question. How to differentiate caring of nitric acid from Cocculus caring nature?
See, when a Cocculus patient cares for someone, na, as I have already told you, he'll care like a nurse. Who cares like a nurse? See, in that third case, she cared for her mother-in-law. She was with her day and night in the hospital for around a week. And she used to told me, I asked her, from where do you eat then? So she told me that it was a government hospital and there was nothing nearby. So whenever my husband used to come after office, he used to bring something at the dinner. And otherwise, I used to take only tea or biscuits. So Cocculus in extreme, this is her morbidity. Cocculus cares a lot for others. He gets worried for a lot for others. You cannot match the care and worry of Cocculus to any other remedy.
Thank you, Dr. Shweta Verma. Okay, one more question for Dr. Mamata. The very first case where calcarea was prescribed and spongia was acute. We have answered your question, Dr. Deepika. Is there any more query?
No, actually, in first case, that calcarea was a constitutional and spongia was given as an acute of that constitutional. So how the acute and chronic relationship we take it, no, like that it was given. So spongia is acute of calcarea.
Great. So there's no more questions in the chat box, and it was a great learning and a very nice description from Dr. Shweta Verma about Cocculus indicus, and of course asthma from Dr. Mamata Kumar, and very wonderful case sharings from both of you. And we would like to take privilege to honor both of you with the KHA certificates. Congratulations, Dr. Mamata.
Shweta, thank you, Dr. Shweta.
And this is for you, Dr. Shweta Verma. Congratulations.
Thank you, Dr. Shweta.
Now it's time to announce the upcoming webinar in January on 22nd of Jan 2023 at 8:30 p.m. India and 10 a.m. Eastern US and Canada. We will be having Dr. Frederick Schroens, who will be enlightening us on different and new ways of repertorizing rising synthesis adonis, and Dr. Janice Solomon, who will be sharing on feminine recharge. So you can find the link on the website to register, and the website is kavitakhomeopathy.com, and you can also find these updates of upcoming webinars on our social media channels, LinkedIn, Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram with the name KHA Study Group. For any query, you can also reach us at khastudygroup@gmail.com. And please don't miss the webinars. And I want to thank all the KHA volunteers for their continuous and support and selfless services for making these webinars successful. And for the webinar recording, you can also subscribe our YouTube channel with the name Kavita Kukunur. For any updates on the webinars or any other query, you can also reach us or email us at caststudygroup@gmail.com. I also want to thank all the viewers and followers to join us and for their support. I hope these webinars are up to their expectations. And thank you to the speakers for your gracious presence and for your precious time in sharing your knowledge and wisdom. Thank you all for joining us today. So thank you from Ka Homeopathy Study Group. Shall we end this?
Sure. Thank you so much, Dr. Shweta.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, both of you. Don't forget to fill the jot form. You will receive your certificate within 10 days. Thank you all.